Oh, there it is. This is the Nationwide Insurance Building in downtown Columbus, Ohio. This is one of the largest. It's one of the tallest buildings. One of the tallest commercial. Rather than state office, because there are a lot of state offices down here, and obviously it's the downtown. It's going to be a lot of federal. They got all the there'll be federal offices down here too, and of course the city. It's a city, so they're going to have all the city offices too. So you're going to have all this stuff. But since it's the capital of the state, there are going to be a lot more state offices than other cities in Ohio would probably likely have, because it's the capital of the state. Now, here's something they did that I really think makes a lot more sense. For some reason, this is their old logo. This is the logo. Now, people in Ohio don't talk like that. See, they had another one for some reason. When I was, I wonder why that is. When I wasn't here, after I'd worked here, they had, this was their logo originally, or very similar to that one at least. And then they had one with simply an open, hollow blue square for years. They changed it, and then they changed it back to this. Now, when I was here, it was never the open square, and now it's come to this. I wonder why this has changed. This has gone back to what it was. And here's one of the. Now I remember this one. This was the I think it was called the William Green Building. I think that's what they called it. That's that one over there. Now this was like Nationwide 3. Now I had worked through a temp agency, mostly the one in this building. It's what used to be in this building over there, which used to be part of Nationwide, but doesn't appear to be anymore. This was I worked on the 5th floor of this building in 1992, from February of 1992 to April of or was it April or May? Yeah, it was April or May. I think it was April of 1993. I worked at the 5th floor of that building. It was a company called Financial Horizons Service Center. And it was just they sold investments, and they had these the people who sold bank investments in out of bank like mutual funds and investment things like that. Well, I worked in the area where they sorted through the documents but dealt with their commissions, and I just didn't know what I was doing. Although I was I just felt like just get me on the other things. I felt there was just get me on the other things. The stuff was boring to me. I didn't. But anyway, I managed to stay there for a year. But I was quite into the alcohol, and quite of would generally call in very frequently. This is nice down here. I did not see this. This was not here. This was not here. This was not here back when I worked here. This is quite beautiful here. I might have to take some photographs in here if I'm not just videos. I'm gonna have to stay. But this is beautiful. Now, this is I think I've taken pictures of this before. Yeah, I didn't know I forgot I got pictures even circulating on the Chromecast of this already. I don't have to take some now. I thought maybe this was in DC. Now the funny thing is, one time in October '92, I think it was. This area is closed off. This block was closed off. Of all places to have it happen here, right at the corner of Nationwide and High in downtown Columbus, Ohio. They set up a stage, like a bleachers, and they had people. They had the reigning King George the second, as opposed to King George the third. I think we should call it Emperor's. U.S. Emperor George III made a last plea to hold up his empire right here on October of his always try to be reelected, and they had this thing closed off and security and all this. They had everything, and they had there was a Bush was there. That Arnold Schwarzenegger was there because he loves Columbus. In fact, I've worked over there up there at this convention center up there. One of the last job, the second to last job I had before I worked at Floyd Bell was at the convention center, folding up after the Arnold Classic. Now this is, like I said, I worked at, my camera's got a little bouncing a little more than I want it to bounce. A bounce. Well, let's see. There's yeah. I've also worked in all these buildings here. This building I've worked in, that one, but that was the first of the nationwide buildings I worked at. I was working on a temp job where it's like I was pretty fully up there. I can see, but I think it was like near the 40th floor. I never went to the Nationwide. I never went to the One Nation restaurant. It's not there anymore. I remember when this was being built. This was like Nationwide 3. I used to go through this ATM. Oh my goodness! I kept what I could. I mean, I logically can handle all that stuff like finances, but keeping my life in a matter where I could keep myself and deal with other people, I just could not do. I had to deal with alcohol so much that I couldn't even think about it. I mean, I always wonder how they manage to keep people from in their mouths. Are they going to start swabbing people's mouths and make sure they don't have those snooze packets? Because there is no no spitting with those things, so they don't. Except spitting them out, it's no harm. It's harmless to gum. It's just another sign of just a need to be there's always going to be forces, and this is an insurance company. I can understand. Insurance companies are going to want you to they're going to want you to not hurt yourself. I said, yeah, regardless. And I'd try to smoke. I'd always be smoking. I'd try to defiantly, because I was defying. What's I hurt myself and defying protection. Maybe it was a bad idea, because my great aunt. Gladdy. That was my dad's younger sister. I think it was the only one who's younger than my dad. He was my dad's dad. My grandpa was born in 1915. Gladdy was born in 1917, and she worked in Nationwide. I don't think it was any. Well, they didn't have this building back then. They didn't have any. I don't think they. I think the only building that was any close to that size was the Levesque Tower, which is called the AIU building. Back in the that's my grandma always called the AIU building. And I would imagine Gladdy would have called, but that's not where Nationwide was. I don't know where Nationwide Insurance was back then, but it definitely was not here. They did not have Nationwide Insurance. When my great aunt was working at Nationwide Insurance, they didn't have this building like this. Oh, there's a place. Here's a ramp. Now here's something. Maybe that's the whole idea here. Maybe I shouldn't go down. Maybe I should start going down these ramps because I got these ankle weights. I think that's what Dawn got me in the spirit of doing these, because I got 4-pound ankle weights on my ankles. I'm walking through. I'm walking in places that I worked in early 1990s. I used to come down, try to get temp jobs down in. I tried to get office jobs in temp places like Nationwide Insurance here. Well, whatever they were, I would take whichever ones they were. But I'd want to get office jobs. I didn't want to work in these I didn't want to work in restaurants for sure. I figured this would be somehow they discover how smart I was and put me on another job. But I don't know if I've worked in this building before, but but I've been in this building before. This actually, when I worked here at Nationwide in 1992, this was actually a Wendy. Here, I'm gonna walk across the street. Well, there we go. This was actually a Wendy's right here, and I would come here. I would take a late lunch. As like I'd actually take like a lunch at 2, so I could be late because I just wanted to not have a lot of time after lunch. And I would eat They used to have these all-you-can-eat salad bars, and I'd be loaded up with everything I can, try to get as much money as I could out of it. It was like, my gosh, I was trying to stuff myself full of carbohydrates. That's what I'm not trying to. I was addicting myself. But this is it looks like it's a nice, much better. It's better than Wendy's, what it was when I worked at Nationwide back in '92, definitely. Yeah, this is the. So that building was there in '89. That came in '89, and there's the nation. There's a paddle boat, and there's Nationwide Insurance Building. That's now the one I worked at for the most of the time was the one across the street over there. If you can see it there, it's hard to see from here because I'm kind of on the other side of the street. Now here is the elevator. Okay, formerly known as the clock. This is what somebody who I knew from the when I worked at Toledo's Mexican restaurant up on in Clintonville in 1990. A friend who worked with me behind the counter and had shown me up this place in 1990, and I had. I think I remember they had Samuel Adams on tap. Oh my gosh, it's a bro. They have a beer like that. No, I think I may have bought a. Well, I think I bought a bottle in there maybe, and then I had some other beers they had on tap. It was in 1990, and that was called the Clock at the time. But in 2000, in fact, it was November 18th, 2000. I was in here when it was already called the Elevator, and this is when I already worked at Cord. In fact, this day I worked at Cord Camera just down the street here, back when they still had their store back. When they still had their store back here. Well, when Cord Camera still existed, I worked it one day, November 18th, 2000. It was the day after my 32nd birthday. I worked at the Cord Camera down here, which was right across the street from right next door, or in the same block as a Chinese restaurant. That the same person who showed me about this, the same person I found out about this bar over here back in 1990. We used to go to a Chinese restaurant over there. This is interesting. They're changing everything down everywhere along the way. Downtown Columbus. You hungry or anything like that? Yeah. Here, I'll get some to eat. Sure. I'll be back. I'll see you. I'll see the fast food restaurant. Okay. It looks like I got a nice little mission here. I mean, I didn't mean to. I'm not trying to show off, but why? There's no reason not to do this. I think I was somehow meant to show off. I don't know, but no, maybe not. Well, let's go do this. Let's get some food for the. I'm sure the. Well, I gotta go find some food for some a homeless family over here on the streets of Columbus, Ohio, and I'm sure there's a fast food restaurant or something on the street here. Now. We're having something political here. I don't know if I want to see this. I don't know. Oh, it's the Blue Jackets. Oh, this is the sports. Hey. The Columbus Blue Jackets, the only... Okay, let me go get some, I think there's got to be some fast food restaurant. Unfortunately, see, I was just talking about how this one place upgraded to Wendy's, and now I can't find a fast food restaurant or something like down here. Well, I'll have to find something down here to get these, get this family. I'll be, see what time is it now. Make sure I know what time it is. Well, my clock says there's 15 minutes on the video. They go, hey, there's got to be something down here. Well, they're not halting the construction anywhere. Maybe there's a CVS or something like that down here. I can get them some stuff down here. Let's see. Let's see if I can, maybe it might be a good idea to turn off the camera for just a little bit. So I'll do that.